Like, they're not just saying it. It's actually like...
As a ginger person, I don't need to know these things. Because I'm not a rapper.
What relevance is that?
Because you don't get a ginger rapper, do you? Are there ginger rappers?
Well, Ed Sheeran
I said you could technically consider Ed Sheeran.
Oh my god. I'm showing my ignorance.
I feel like there's another one that I should know of that I can't think of right now.
Not Devlin.
No, he's grey.
Obviously.
Very grey-haired.
Okay.
Bless him.
Okay.
Shout out to Devlin. He's actually great.
What a guy. I mean, hasn't released anything in a while, but okay.
Yeah, he does.
Does he?
Yeah, he's just not very prevalent. Sorry, mate. I'm sorry, but it's kind of true.
Devlin, if you're listening...
Yeah, come on the show, bro. We'd love to have you.
Should we dive in?
Are we recording right now?
We're recording right now. That'll probably be the pre-intro.
So what happened to the intro?
No, I haven't done any intro. That's probably the pre-intro gag.
Oh,
did I not share this with you?
No, we didn't.
Well, it happened in my mind.
Yeah, you did put record on, I think.
Oh, he's watching. Okay, we're going to dive in. Okay, ready?
Mm-hmm.
Are you excited?
We interrupt your usual programming for a podcast in the art of bullshittery.
Hello, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, good whatever time it is with you. Welcome to the Blaggin It podcast, the weekly wellness podcast and lifestyle podcast where instead of trying to help you get ahead in life, we're just trying to help you survive it. My name's Tom Baker. I'm an actor, writer, and part-time Jessica Lange impersonator. I'm here with my co-host with the almost, Chris Haynes. Chains.
Yes, sir. What's going on, man? New swag on the tagline there.
Got my swag on.
Oh,
and cut. And I'm also here with the missing fifth Beatle, Luke Mortimore.
Hello, you alright?
Should we get a nice little round of applause here? You know?
Yeah, you can always add in more. You know, after.
Yeah, we can.
Yeah. Oh yes, what the sound effect, like a default.
Yeah.
I'll make sure.
Although, is that no? I don't know because we didn't do that for Keris.
Mental health nurse versus musician.
Oh.
No, I'll cut that.
No, you're not now. That's staying.
Chris, no, not Chris. I'm bored of you. Luke,
Brilliant.
Who are you? How do we know each other?
So me and Tom, we trained to be actors at Northampton.
We did.
For 3 years. Did lots, didn't we? We did stage combat, learn the ways of the industry.
Yeah.
And drank a lot of wine and watched
a lot of wine was consumed.
A lot of things.
We
played
had
a lot of video games. It was great.
Yeah, our tradition was Wine Wednesdays, where we would.
I actually got the T-shirt on as well.
I made a Wine Wednesday. I made merch for this private event, Wine Wednesdays. If you were invited to a Wine Wednesdays, it was an exclusive event. It was like when
we were the original two. I mean, there would be a
have
guest
guests.
third member who would sometimes permanently stay.
They might be romantic partners who eventually leave us.
We won't go into that.
And there might be other students who got stabbed in the eye and would pass out. But the third member was always fluctuating, but it was always Tom and Morty.
A couple of long runners,
but they just didn't make the cut. It was like Doctor Who, it regenerated. Didn't it? We passed the baton.
New series.
Exactly. And
some series shorter than others.
It was always awkward when it was just us two as well. Do you know
it
what
was,
I mean?
yeah. It was.
Two boys on a bed playing games of wine.
I was usually on the chair, to be fair.
Luke was like, I'm keeping my distance. Luke was doing social distancing before social distancing was popular. Luke,
trend setting.
Yeah, exactly. Luke, what do you do? Why have we brought you here? Who are you?
So I did train to be an actor, but I'm a musician now. So yeah, I'm involved in teaching music, guitar, bass,
Triangle,
yeah.
Which is the hardest one.
It's really hard.
You've got to know your timing.
You've got to get your angles right on the triangle. Shift to isosceles.
Okay.
Don't trust those isosceles.
No,
Okay.
but that's really my thing. It's just playing music, writing music. It was sort of my calling, I think, the past sort of year. As much as I love acting, I'd say I'm having a well-earned break from it.
So do you feel that you get more fulfillment out of music
Yeah,
as
I
opposed
do.
to acting?
Yeah, I think because there's less rules. I think.
That's interesting. Less rules.
I
okay.
think so. Yeah, I think.
This is the episode where I don't have to say anything because you two are both musicians, so I can quite happily just sit here and listen.
I don't know. For me with music, I think once you've got the back end of like your chords and your scales and that, you don't necessarily have to follow that structure. If you are writing something, well, it's not writing in general, isn't it? But if you're writing something, you've got all the freedom in the world, as long as you shut off your brain to the point where you don't actually care what your listener thinks. That's just what I think. Anyway, I never really write thinking about the listener.
See, to some people, that was from like a consumer's perspective. I think that a lot of people would take that as like arrogance and be like, oh, how could you say that about the fans? But like, it's like I was watching another episode of Hot Ones actually that had Noel Gallagher on it, which, say what you like about the Gallaghers, they are iconic.
Yeah,
and just
quite
they're meant to be arseholes,
right,
as people.
I love that as a brand.
Like,
I need to sign up.
They do it very well.
Yeah, and they're fantastic musicians. But Noel's been recently sort of pushing his sound in different directions, and a lot of like old school Oasis fans are a bit like, oh, this is terrible stuff. But then, as he said in that interview, he said, well, fuck the fans. It's like, they don't know what they want until they've heard it.
Yeah.
It's like, they don't even know what they want, so I don't care. And it sounds really bad, but it's right,
no, it's
really.
so true.
Like,
well, for me, like the reason why you do write is for some sort of self-satisfaction. If you can get that, then what's to stop you from doing more? Like the minute you start making money out of something that you are, you have strived for, your concept completely changes. Like if I suddenly, was signed to a record deal now.
yeah.
First album's worth of material would probably be pretty good, but everything else would be influenced by what people want. So when
what is your take on labels?
It depends which one really, but yeah, I don't know.
Because obviously Chris was saying in a different episode that now these days, because we are a generation of, and you and I were talking about this over a cheeky glass of wine, because we are the generation of hustlers who want to make it ourselves, the dependency and leaning on a label has become sort of irrelevant in the Instagram age. You can get a following and a cult following just by being a self-starter. So with that regard, what do you think? What degree of relevance do you think labels still have, and is that in quotation marks making it?
No, not making it. No, making it is actually the creative process, in my opinion. But the labels, I think, will always be there. They're like your high end companies, aren't they? Like your big franchises and all of that. They're always going to be there and have all the contacts and things. But I don't know. I mean, from a label, what you want is someone that understands exactly what you're going for, really. And I think the trouble is with musicians is they go with a label to begin with because they are that, but they never really want to stay just doing that. So labels become disinterested.
Yeah. So what kind of music is it that you produce then?
Yeah.
So,
does it like fit to a particular genre, or do you?
I wouldn't really be out. Well, my band HOKUM that I write for, it's probably a mixture of like psychedelic, like blues. A bit of post-punk in there. There's a lot of different genres, just playing around with a lot of ideas.
Okay.
So I wouldn't really know how to market it.
Yeah. That's cool, man. So of course you have. So I'm in the like underground hip hop scene, if you will. So of course you do have. I imagine that you do have your labels that are purely for that sort of sound.
Yeah, cushy. Yeah.
So do you think, because us typically speaking, like from like the hip hop world, we have a very large disdain for labels.
Yeah.
Just because of the way they operate, and they're very much like, no, you need to do this, and it's like, no, I don't. Really, they're more telling you what to put out, and then they make an absolute fortune out of us for things that they chose, and putting out a bunch of records that we didn't want to put out in the first place, but it's because it's what sells. So do you think that there's a difference in our side of labels and your side of labels? Do you think there's like a better system going on there, or is it all kind of in the same?
Yeah, what's your experience with labels? Have you thought about reaching out? Is HOKUM that concerned?
Well, based on what Chris was saying about like you said about specific like genres, like I've tried to reach out to labels that have brought upcoming bands in the past 5 years into sort of fruition. Is that a word?
Yeah, we use fruition.
Hey,
yeah,
that's a word.
He's there.
But yeah, that sort of thing. Targeting those people that actually will get you.
And it's similar, just because I need to have some airtime on my podcast. It's similar to when you're looking for an acting agent, because I can remember when I signed with my agency, BMA, it was really important to my agent that she understood my brand and what I was, and that I'm a character actor, like I'm your Peaky Blinders, Doctor Who, Game of Thrones kind of guy.
Yeah.
And she herself said it's important that I understand what I can do for you and what jobs I'm putting you forward for. So I think that having a label/agent shouldn't be about how do we make the most money. It's about who's going to understand me and represent me the best.
Yes.
Yeah, definitely.
Sort of. Okay. Nice. We're kind of getting ahead of ourselves. That was there was a cool exchange fairly early on, but not to get ahead of ourselves. But Luke, recently, obviously this year we've had, lockdown, a massive shift in our way of life. So from your craft, what you do as a musician, etc., how has that shifted for you?
Well, obviously, pandemic aside, it has been actually super useful to have some time to myself. When you're gigging all the time, it becomes very easy to reach like a placebo sort of. I don't know if that's the right word. Yeah, I'll go with placebo. Or what's the word? Flatline. That's it. You can sort of flatline out because you're gigging the same songs all the time. But the lockdown has sort of given me an opportunity to actually just focus on getting better. Learning the actual craft of. Just learning stuff that I wouldn't normally learn just for the sake of it. And it's just, rehearsal time, it's been amazing. And I think most musicians would actually feel the same.
Yeah, Matt Healy said a similar thing. Obviously, the lead singer of the 1975, he similarly said that you can gig and tour, and you start to lose gratitude for those moments, all those people you're playing for, etc. And I can remember he was doing, I don't know if he was doing an interview or if he was saying it on stage, but he became quite tearful when he was like, actually, what am I thinking? Why am I shutting myself off from realising how massive this is? So I think, and I was saying to you earlier, Luke, that 2020 has been, as a year, a time for us to all turn inwards and really reflect on who we are as individuals and stuff. And a lot of relationships have broken off this year from our circle. I don't know, from us, I don't think any of our friends are.
I think, well, touch wood. Sorry, I had to. It's just a force of habit.
The levels.
But no, most people around me have managed to maintain so far. But,
whereas I think a lot of people have gone, what the hell am I doing? Like, even one of my favourite YouTubers broke up with their partner and I was in bits. And I was like, why am I so affected by this? But it's because they were together like 7 years. Yeah. And I grew up watching them, and then to find out they broke up over quarantine, I was like, that's so mad.
Well, I think people are usually so wrapped up in their own individual work lives that they're not actually used to spending that amount of time with one person.
Yeah, and so to be shut in a room with them, suddenly there's that confrontation of...
you see the differences, don't you?
Yeah.
Especially when stress is involved.
It's like, wow, this is actually who I'm with, kind of thing, and I don't actually like a lot of it. But then it's also, I suppose it's quite difficult as well, because we've never had to deal with something like this before, so everyone's a little bit like...
It's so crazy.
Like, whenever somebody is like... Whenever someone seems a bit agitated with me or a bit snappy and that, I try not to take it personally, because we're all dealing with the shit right now.
Yeah.
So it's kind of like, I'm not going to hold that against you, mate. I'm not going to cuss you out or whatever. Like, fair enough. Like, So it's kind of, because we're all dealing with that sort of a thing. So it might just be because of that. So is it really wise to...
Yeah, it's a kind of overarching anxiety, isn't it? It's like under the surface level, it's always bubbling away. There isn't one day that goes by where we're not thinking about its implications and how the world has changed.
Oh yeah, because you can't escape it at all. You go out for a bit and then everyone's in a mask and then they're queuing outside the shops and all of that rubbish. And then when you get in the shop, it's a one-way system, and you can't escape it, really.
And so, Luke, we're big advocates on this podcast for mental well-being and mindfulness, etc. We talked a lot about meditation. So what does your mindfulness routine look like, and do you have one?
Yeah, I do. Yeah, well, recently...
Please share. Or it will be a short episode.
So my sort of meditation at the moment, like I was saying earlier about getting better at practicing an instrument, I've just been learning scales and learning like bits on the guitar, bits on the keyboard, where you can just have a complete point of flow We don't have to think what is the next note. So what I've been doing is putting my headphones in and putting a backing track on that's like 20 minutes long. That's in like a key. And just jamming around for like 20 minutes. And then I get addicted. But before I know it, like 2 hours is gone. I'm ready for bed. I'm like, brilliant. 1 hour on the piano. For me, that is just as loose as you can be with music. That just, even when you hit a bad note, you've got to mark the landing.
Yeah.
I like that. I appreciate a good jam.
Yeah.
I used to do that. I think it was once, maybe twice a week with a couple of friends of mine. I used to go to the crib, and then we'd just, come up with some random. Well, my mate would come up with some random riff or whatever, and then the other guy was a drummer, so and then I'd just get out some old bars from years ago and just go through page after page after page after page. Oh, that's great.
Yeah.
Shout out to them. I hope they're doing well. I haven't seen them in a long time. Ooh.
Okay.
Well,
who's your favourite artists or bands?
I'll have a drink of water.
I'm intrigued.
Favourite artists? I've got quite a few. I'd say my top 3.
Ooh.
The Beatles are my favourite band because they just got me into music.
Okay.
But I'm a big Bowie fan and a big Bob Dylan fan as well. They're my top 3. Quite classic.
Chris,
an old song.
I've got to. I'm sorry to change the record, but I
Yes.
just remembered something.
Yes.
Did you go on my acting coaching page and submit a form mentioning Denzel Washington?
I did not.
Because I got, the same day we recorded the podcast last week, I got an email through
Right.
from someone, I don't know who it is.
Denzel Washington.
Yeah, Denzel Washington.
No.
That's incredible.
You're welcome.
I wish I probably would be here right now if it was Denzel Washington.
It started off as a joke at first. Denzel Washington replied.
Little did I know, Denzel Washington is actually... here it is. Neil Beat.
Right.
The subject is everything.
Right.
Hi, Thomas. I was born to be on the stage! !
Ooh.
That's all I ever got told by all of my family growing up.
Ooh.
School.
Starting strong. Okay.
Wait. It gets better.
Okay.
School wasn't for me, to be honest. When I done my GCSEs, 2 apostrophes, I got 2 E's, 2 apostrophes, 3 F's, 2 apostrophes, and 1 D. And that was my best grade, and that was in drama. That's what you want to say to a potential acting tutor, isn't it? My teacher, Miss Walsh, great name drop.
How much detail do we need? Is he sending us his autobiography?
Apparently, he thinks that I care. Said I would...
No, Tom.
What?
If he's made a reference to Denzel Washington, he might have heard the podcast. And now you're saying, I don't care about him.
Well, no, I'm
this
not being
gentleman is
funny.
paying your bills, potentially.
No, he isn't, because I didn't reply to it. Said I would have got an A star if I'd done just 1 bit of homework.
That's not really selling it, is it, to be
If
honest?
you want to excel in my classes, don't tell me that you never did homework. She told me I'm one hell of an actor.
Right.
And if I ever got the chance, then do it.
But do your homework as well. To be
Please do
You're
your
listening,
homework.
do your homework.
It sounds like someone wants to do 3 years of acting training if they don't do any homework. I just wanted to get out there and work, but I never really knew what I wanted to do with my life until now, to be honest. Maybe get some English lessons to start with.
As he says, lessons.
Lessons. Get some English lessons.
The irony.
He says, I'm the vacuum wizard. What does that mean?
The
Does he sell
wizard.
vacuum things?
The vacuum wizard. Who's that?
Shall we? I'm going to Google vacuum wizard and see what on earth that. If it comes up with something nasty,
I sense a bit of drugs were in play when this email was written. That's my
vacuum
I can't
wizard.
take it anymore. It's killing me.
I'm the vacuum.
There's a place
vacuum
there's a place in Bristol called the Vacuum Wizard, and it's Dyson handheld
Of course
repairs.
it is.
So
Neil Beat.
It's
He's
like-
got an AOL.co.uk email address
That's
as
always
well.
a
That
bad
tells you.
sign.
That's my business, and I'm very comfortable, but I want to act.
so he might actually own the Vacuum Wizard place if he says that's his business.
And this is the best bit.
Maybe it may.
This is the best bit. I want to be as good as Denzel Washington. Can you help?
I mean, you should reply. I don't even know who that is.
Well, Neil, clearly you don't listen to the podcast because I don't know who Denzel is. But I thought it was you. It came through, and the minute I saw Denzel Washington, I was like, okay, very funny. Like you or Signe messaging, being like, oh, you don't know who Denzel Washington is. but that wasn't you.
No, honestly, mate.
I
no.
need to send Neil a very long apology email.
Oh dear, that's great.
Did you reply to it?
No, I don't know if I did. Most of my replies are usually, let's do a free consultation, see how I can help you. But when he was like, these are my GCSEs, I'm like, why are you listing on GCSEs? You know, I don't know.
Yeah, it was quite a long-winded story he gave. A nice black story.
It was a journey.
Yeah.
I've thoroughly enjoyed it.
But
I'd like to see Denzel Washington star in the Vacuum Wizard. I want to see.
That sounds like a great
Sounds brilliant.
Maybe I'm being really ignorant. Maybe it's a massive coming-of-age story where this guy, Neil Beat...
Yeah.
How would you spell Beat, by the way, as a surname?
B-E-A-T.
B-E-E-T. Like beetroot.
Beetroot,
yeah. Neil Beetroot, maybe he's the next big thing. And I've been insanely ignorant.
You never know. He's now going to
very
be in a
keen.
film
What
with
great.
Denzel.
He does sound keen, although when your best grade is D in drama, then maybe it's a sign, Neil, that you need to just stick with
Yeah, but he said
vacuums.
school was never for him.
Yeah, it's probably the homework thing, I reckon.
Okay, so of course we listed your favourite artists.
Mm-hmm.
So would you say that you listen to? Are you like a full albums kind of listener?
100%.
Okay,
Yeah.
Greatest albums. Let's go.
Okay, Dark Side of the Moon.
Okay, is that Pink Floyd?
Pink Floyd,
Yep.
yeah. I really like Blood on the Tracks by Bob Dylan.
I like
It's a great
Shay Lloyd.
we are getting to your greatest albums, by the way, Tom. We're doing this.
Love Abbey Road by the Beatles. Fleetwood Mac Rumours has got to be up there. That's an incredible record.
Okay.
So many good albums. Albums are, especially in those times, they were designed, like, all the tracks were really thought about where they were on the album. I love records like that.
Yes, where it's a journey, where it's a complete,
Yeah,
like a film almost.
Yeah.
I find that if we're going to hip hop, like Straight Outta Compton, that album
Yes.
has just got such a flow.
Yes.
Do you know what I mean? Every track is really thought about where it's been placed.
Yes, and there's definitely been that process where the track list has been considered here. Let's listen to it in this order. Does this one actually belong here? Okay, no, let's switch that with this. And I'm with it. It's why it really annoys me when like somebody will get an album and they'll hit shuffle on it before they've heard it. It was like, what are you doing? Like,
I listen to my albums
it's been put
in order
here
now.
for a reason. Yeah. Like when I'm putting something together, I listen through it and it's like, I think this one belongs here and this one goes here. I've done that for a reason. It sounds better this way. Like,
well, it's like chapters of a book. You wouldn't read a book out of order because then you're not getting the full story.
I'm sure I spoke to somebody that said they read the last chapter of a book before they then read the whole thing.
That's out of When Harry Met Sally.
Is it?
He says, I always read the last page of a book so that if I die,
you're right.
I know the ending.
That's such a great film. I love
it.
It
is it? Thank you.
Brilliant film. Billy Crystal.
Wouldn't know.
Love that film.
Haven't seen it. Tom, greatest albums. Let's go.
Oh no. Cher Lloyd, Sorry I'm Late.
Okay.
Now 67.
That doesn't matter. These don't count.
I loved Cher Lloyd. Cher Lloyd was
you
like...
did,
I
yes.
just think of that video. I'm going to sing Cher Lloyd. Whenever I hear Cher Lloyd now.
Yeah, people always think that it's the Scottish woman coming in, the Northern woman coming in and saying that, but it's the fact that she says Cher Lloyd.
By Cher Lloyd.
It's like someone saying, I'm going to sing Michael Jackson by Michael Jackson. Best albums. I don't know. I'll check. Let me check my Spotify because my music taste is so fluctuating.
Oh yeah, same. Yeah,
but I couldn't name. I don't know.
Yeah, mine's all over the place, man. I'm very big on like lists when it comes to like music stuff. So I'll often like have a conversation with like my producer or something or like a fellow artist, and we'll be like, okay, cool, right, top 10 Eminem verses, go. And then we're just going to spend hours being like, no, that verse is way better than this one. Or like, or this is one of the best. Oh yeah, that's got to be somewhere. Trying to sort of cram all of these great verses into a singular top 10 list when we have like 25 incredible verses. Doing the same with the albums. All right, what are the best albums from this year or whatever? So
I don't know. I don't think I can say best albums just because looking at my music on Spotify, everything is very single based. But I'd say biggest influential artist would be the 1975.
Okay.
Very recently, just in terms of their philosophical, mindful, and very artsy approach to music. We love postmodern, Luke. When we did our training, I'm all about postmodern, like breaking the boundaries of what is it's foreseen as the norm in music. I like stuff that breaks out of that, or that is cinematic in its approach. That loads of the 1975. What was I just looking at?
I don't know, bro.
I've got a bit of Justin Bieber on here just because you want the... Old Justin Bieber was good, man.
No, Purpose, Justin Bieber was good.
What songs are they?
That was...
Purpose.
Yes. What was it called? Love Yourself or whatever it was.
Yes, that's a good one.
Even though...
As long as you love me, Beauty and a Beat. No? For when you're driving?
No,
okay, fine. We obviously have very different...
Judging from Luke's face, I think he disagrees.
Brilliant, okay.
Yeah, I think silence often says more than saying
Thank
what's
you,
been
Luke,
said
for your
before.
support. I'm a massive Sia fan. Sia, in terms of vocal ability, I think is very different, and I love her concept of the whole masking thing, of how her brand is faceless,
No, she is
and that everyone is Sia.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? And like with her album artwork, she didn't have her on the front cover. She had random people in the bob wig. And I think that is an intelligent artist who is thinking conceptually. I love concepts in film, in music, etc. Probably because I'm quite complicated. But that's why I don't really... Well, sometimes I need my trashy pop stuff like Justin Bieber to like just sing hideously.
Yeah, just sing along with,
But I love music that has a concept.
Okay.
So this okay, here we go. This is... brought something to my mind. What do you think music? What do you think is the evolution in music in say 10 or 20 years? Where is music to go?
I don't know about anyone else, but I find that the same with fashion. Things just sort of loop back round. And
Yeah,
I
that's
think
weird, isn't it?
Yeah, I think we've gone through. I'd say, especially with the tens, from 2010s to we've definitely gone on a sort of like an 80s sort of like vibe.
80s is so in.
It's just been pop, really. Pop. Whereas like you look at like the noughties, we had like a lot of like pop punk and stuff.
Loads of pop, Razorlight.
Yeah,
Oasis.
A massive
like Block
Green
Party
Day.
and
Yeah,
stuff.
Block Party.
Amazing band.
Do you remember Helicopter on Guitar
Yes.
Hero?
I don't want to flex real quick or anything, but I used to be able to play at least half of that without the fretboard showing up on the screen.
That's pretty insane.
What, really? Well, so you just could just look at the key? Or
Oh no, you could have a mode where it took the fretboard off.
Yeah, and you
then
memorised it, didn't you? Yeah. Yeah.
I didn't have much of a social life when Guitar Hero 3 was out.
Guitar Hero
That's
3
the best
was
one.
the
Legends
best.
of
It
Rock.
was.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it
it
was.
was.
So good.
Yeah.
I used to jump on the sofa and do like, and I'd jump off, and I just, what a sad day. Another.
Yeah, I'm interested. I think do you know what, in like an ideal world, I would love to see like another version of the 60s come back. Like I think already music like that is starting to come back, like that late 60s sort of sound, like the like the psychedelic sort of genre. I think that is actually coming back. If you look at Australia, what they're doing at the moment, so many like underground bands are doing things that are just strange, that sound like...
Have you heard of
completely
the artist?
bizarre.
Have you heard of the artist Declan McKenna?
I've heard of him, yeah.
He's doing some very 60s stuff that is, as you say, psychedelic and quite like... he loves using a theremin. Do you know the themin?
Yeah. That's the
The hands. I want one of them. That
that
must be so good for meditation. Just like, do you know what a themin is?
They're really hard to play.
I feel like I might.
There's these two like metal poles, and they conduct some kind of field or wave between them, and you put your hand in it. It goes like. Just do that.
Check it out. It's awesome.
It's like very synth sort of.
Meant to be really difficult to play because you have to be so specific with.
Because every hand movement is a note.
It bends the pitch.
Sick.
Yeah.
Bends the, mate, it's awesome. Check it out.
I want one. I'm gonna.
That is super dope.
I just imagine it'd be really meditative. It's just.
But yeah, loads of those instruments coming out. Like the Mellotron was like pretty much the first keyboard ever. And it was literally, you wouldn't believe this, but because the keyboard is basically just recorded sound, but corresponds with being played at the same time as you play the note on the keyboard. The actual Mellotron had like the recorded tapes inside the thing. So what would happen is the tape would wear after a while, and it would make it sound sort of slightly out of tune.
Okay.
There's something about that.
But people
isn't there?
bringing that back.
Yeah.
Like, why? But what it is, I think we've got to a point where production has become so convenient and so easy. We can
and
do it
slick
at home.
and polished.
That I think people get a bit sick of really nice mixes.
Sounding stuff.
Yeah, because like.
Oh yeah,
Do you know what I mean?
I got a friend of mine that's hugely influenced by punk music, and you know when he's listening to an album, he doesn't. So like a lot of times now, you'll get a remastered version of an album, and he's just like, no, I've been all that. He's like, no, when I'm listening to like Iron Maiden and Metallica and Black Sabbath, he's like, no, I want the horrible distortion to come through it. And whenever he got the guitar out, it was always, no, we're turning the distortion up here. We're getting this.
What's that about, do you think?
I think it's just. I
It's
think it was
very
like
tactile and textured, isn't it?
I think it was like a power thing. I think the thing about like metal music and stuff like that was it hit very heavy.
100%.
Like,
Sabbath.
it hits very heavy. Like, there are some things that. So there are just some songs or just some bands that you cannot listen to them quietly because you will not appreciate it. If you can listen to Enter Sandman quietly, we can't be in the same room. I cannot trust a person that can listen to that quietly and still appreciate it. Because
metal in general,
it's just not right.
It's a bit like how I don't trust people who have carpet in their bathrooms.
To be honest.
Yeah.
What sort of a psycho does that?
Obviously, I work in carpet right now, and people came in this elderly couple, and they go, do you have any bathroom carpets? And I just straight up said, no, because if you're normal, you don't have a carpet in your bathroom.
No, that's insane.
It soaks everything up as well. You don't know who's pissed on your floor. Do you know what I mean? If you've got laminate flooring or whatever, you
at least there's some evidence.
Just a little wipe, gone.
You know, that
Easy.
carpet soak it up, stink of piss after a couple of months.
It would, Luke. You'd have to wring that out.
Exactly. No, that's ridiculous.
I know.
But yeah, I think it's very much like, you know, to reel it back into what we were actually talking about.
Nice.
I think it is much like a power thing and like the heavy sort of boom that it hits you with.
Yeah.
When that riff finally comes out, and that it's I guess it's the same as like drum and bass listeners and that they're just waiting for that
drop.
Yeah, they're just waiting for that to come, and then it's bang, just out of nowhere.
So is music, here we go, this is Tom like getting bored of the conventional chat and wanting to make it deep.
Okay.
So music, on the one hand, from what you say about it being like a bit more textured and wanting that grit, that mess, is to have a feeling and a response to it.
Yes.
And yet a lot of music like EDM, is it called EDM?
There is a genre called EDM.
Yeah, they're like you know, high music.
High music.
I don't know, what is it? No, it's
they play it like raves and stuff.
Yeah.
Where you'd have like techno.
Where you'd be like, you've got like a white face from all the coke.
I mean, you'd have techno.
But you know what I mean?
And
but that's an escape from emotion. Whereas something that's more tactile, like the Beatles or David Bowie, which is very much striving towards emotion, is there not like a kind of push and pull, a tug of war of music being, on the one hand, escapism from emotions, but on the other, a way to deal and connect with it?
I feel it's very similar to like the whole left and right debate. If you go too far left, you end up right. If you go too far right, you end up, it all sort of loops round. So for me, talking about like you were saying about EDM and like rave music, yeah, it is an escape, but yeah, if you take bands that are a bit more conceptual, they still give you a sense of escapism, because for me, quite a lot of the time, unless it's a really relatable album or really relatable song, you're often understanding it from the perspective of the person that wrote it. So, well, at least that's how I feel. Unless it's a song that moves you so much to the point that the words sum up your life. I don't know. I think all music is a form of escapism, similar to how films work. I just think it just comes in different characters and different shapes.
What do you think, Chris?
I mean, to be fair, what he just said there about all music being a form of escapism, I was literally just about to make the same point. I feel like that every single artist, them creating the music, is their escapism, and they just pass it on for us to then consume it and use it to escape our
So why
minds.
is there this? Here we go. Tom's taking it. You know, Inception, the film Inception, when they go into one dream thing deep. Why are we so obsessed with escapism and like trying to separate or distance ourselves from reality? And what does that look like in terms of technology evolving or music or art or whatever? What is the ultimate form of that? What's the ultimate form of escapism? That's some Black Mirror. You watch Black Mirror?
No, but I've heard great things about it.
Good.
Ultimate form of escapism, mate, we carry it in our pockets every day.
Do you think?
Yep. When was the last time that you didn't have your phone near you and felt comfortable?
I went to the toilet at the pub earlier and I left my phone on the table.
Oh, I went to the toilet.
I was proud of myself for that though, because usually everyone takes...
Exactly, you're proud of that. Like I see it. No, because I'm the same. I see it as a great achievement if I can go and have a bath without my phone being in the bathroom with me.
I need music when I'm in the bath.
This is the same
as escapism.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. It seems like a great achievement for me. Oh, well done. I spent 10 minutes without my phone or without earphones in. I'm fully aware how much of an addiction I have to having to listen to something all the time.
Yeah. You said that last week. It's like a sound. You need your life to be soundtracked.
Yeah, I'm forever, like, even if it's something, so like, for example, when I was moving my motorbike from the back of my house to the front, literally takes 5 minutes, if that, and I was sat there thinking, what am I going to listen to? I was like,
really?
Well, why? Because I'm going to take that out in 5 minutes' time, just leave it here. Like, why do I need something? I'm fully aware that it's a problem. I mean, I didn't in the end, because, I saw it was ridiculous.
Oh, okay, good.
But, yeah.
You should have listened to the Blaggin It podcast.
So it's an addiction, not necessarily a problem. I don't think that's a problem.
I don't know, man.
So
Too much of anything is a
Should
problem.
we have rehab clinics for mobile phone use?
We'd all be there. Literally every
Good money
person.
making
Most
scheme.
people would be there.
Be right back. Just going to draw a business plan.
Yeah. We're going to draw a pitch.
Phone detox. Yeah.
Well, we just live in a very different world now, don't we, to what we grew up with when we were kids. I think the thing, I've got so much to say about technology always. For such a long time, I mean, I think we all play victim to it. I really thought that technology was sort of taking over us to the point where we weren't really able to communicate with people anymore. Mm-hmm. And, even common stuff like, simple stuff like eye contact was becoming difficult because that your sense of comfort is right in your pocket, as you were saying earlier. If you're stood on your own in a public place, what do? You get your phone out.
Otherwise, you feel 100% awkward just being stood there.
And I found that quite frightening. But then since this year, I've gone, do you know what? Like, what the hell would any of us have done without the technology we've been able to access while we've been in lockdown? Like, what the fuck would we have done? Like, all of us have relied so much.
We'd have gone mad.
Like no Zoom. Imagine if Zoom was at companies.
Isn't that weird? What I don't get about Zoom is why did that? We had Skype and FaceTime. Why did Zoom suddenly? Is it because it was conference? You could have multiple people.
I think so. Yeah, breakout rooms and stuff.
Just me being an old man.
Because you can get loads of people in a Zoom call.
It's been my birthday, by the way. I'm now 25.
Yeah, happy birthday, Tom.
Thank you.
Actually, we were. I was like, we were going to talk about how we experienced each other's weeks, and then we kind of just went off with it.
That's okay. But
yeah.
Maybe we'll talk about it and then cut it in the beginning. But so cool. Technology. So as we were saying, what is the pinnacle of that? Where is that going? What do you think is the? Because you say it's the phone, but there's talk of like wearable phones and things like this. Where does
it's not just phones. It's just the internet has had such a huge impact.
That's why I love the 1975 their album, A Brief Inquiry into Online Relationships, where they do a kind of deconstruction of the internet and the madness of like online relationships and stuff like that. There's a whole track they do with the Siri voice.
Okay.
Where they tell us. Have you heard that one? Yeah, because we worked in the drama school together, and it's just so crazy that our whole lives and aspects of our personality that even people close to us don't know are being broadcasted on the internet for everyone to see.
Mm.
Yeah, it is crazy. We are literally just getting to a point, it seems, that we're not even going to actually consciously be here. So like, how some people have like theories that like everything's a simulation and that we would quite literally...
One of my students said to me the other day, we are microbes in a cell in a giant's body, and I was like, no.
I mean, we could.
So do you think we'll be like unconscious like zombies?
You ever seen Ready Player One?
No.
Okay, so it's basically based on a console called the Oasis, and it's like this great big online service, like an entirely different world, and basically the real world is an absolute dive now because everyone's living
plugged in
here. Yeah, everyone's living in here because you can be whoever you want. They obviously, you've got all of these. Well, it's the same as a video game. You just escape and become who you want and live how you want and become somebody completely different and perceive yourself that way.
Can't we be who we want and live how we want in real life, though?
I mean, yes. But, there's complications with that, isn't there? It's like so people can be like, oh, I can be this great big tough, because they can, change their voices or whatever, and they also change their characters, they're great big muscular orcs or whatever, do you know what I mean?
So everyone's just really unhappy with themselves.
I feel like we all have things that we would change if we could, or something,
That's the minute you stop being human, though, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And do you think
if you could do that, is what I mean.
Yeah.
Yeah, what do you become? What is the final form? And so
You become one of the Jenners.
the what?
The Jenners.
Is that like a Karen?
Kylie Jenner, Bruce Jenner.
Oh.
Or should I say Caitlyn Jenner?
On.
Okay, so I don't get pop culture references.
Yeah. But anyway, as you were saying, mate.
I don't know what I was saying.
Brilliant.
Technology. And so do you think, because we're in, okay, here we go, this is a bit left field, but to bring up Black Lives Matter,
Okay.
do you think 2020 has been a moment of a turning point in terms of the layman rebelling against the structure of society and government? And do you think government are depending on things like technology and commercialism to keep us as in our zombie, I'm getting a bit Illuminati, but to keep us in that kind of sheep herd mindset? Because if we were to step outside of that, then we would realise the secret of our happiness being up to us, and rather than working the 9 to 5, and to be successful and happy, you have to work 40 hours a week, etc.
I think they're absolutely being reliant on us keeping up with technology and keeping on using it as such. Absolutely. If you want me to really get into my tinfoil hat stuff.
Yeah, is this too conspiracy?
I mean, it could be, but if I happen to die in the next couple of weeks, I just want to put it out there.
Why?
I am not suicidal.
Okay.
I just want to put it out there. Just in case I killed myself.
Yeah.
I'm doing just fine lately.
You might have to vlog 24/7 live stream just so we know that that's
But
the case.
you really want me to get me into my tinfoil hat stuff.
Okay.
Like, I don't trust things like Google Home. You are 100% being listened to all the time. I don't.
But you've got Google
like
on.
this. I used to put blue tack over my front camera.
Yeah, Henry does that on his webcam.
Because it's just like I don't trust it. Like, to be honest, now if someone wants to see me jerking off, fair enough.
Oh, okay.
Like, no, fair enough, bro. It's not a nice view. I don't even want to see it.
It's the awful chins down one, isn't it?
Yeah.
At the corner of the screen. Just like a really grey complexion.
Yeah. No, honestly.
Yeah, what are they going to sell you for that? Like, what are they going to...
It's the same thing with just anything now, man. Like, your Apple Watch there, I wouldn't trust that, personally. They rely on us to keep using this stuff because now the most valuable thing is data.
Yeah, information. I remember you saying that.
Information and data. They need that, and the more they get from us, the better.
Yeah.
I think it's a thing that has been created that we have almost no understanding of, really. I mean, trying to explain this thing that is so prominent in our lives is virtually impossible, I think. But I genuinely, I think that, especially after this year, I do think the world has changed, and I do think offices are going to close down. I do think, though, you've got to look at the benefits as well. Like, if people can work from home, then they should. Reducing pollution and emissions,
like traffic accidents.
Yeah.
Collisions,
so
sorry.
it doesn't mean it will be a lot less sociable, but when you're at work, you're there to do a job a lot of the time anyway, and just crack on. But yeah, I honestly, I think in our lifetime we'll live long enough to see the high street just disappear. I really do.
That's quite a claim. I mean,
Would we miss it?
Would we miss it?
Would we miss the high street? Welcome
like
to
browsing,
Old Granny's chat today.
I mean,
Will we miss the high street?
If everyone is inside, because we don't need to go outside, then as you say, the high street disappears. Well, what happens what happens to the world outside of your house? So, like, would it then become, like, dangerous and unheard of to go out there? Would you almost become afraid because of because you'll just get thugs out there looking for people? Oh, there's somebody, mug 'em.
Yeah.
Like, do you see what I mean? So it's like in the early chapters of your book, you talk about this space that nobody's been to, that this guy's only heard stories about.
Yes.
Yeah. Does it become like that? Where it's all just stories and
where it's
rumours,
conspiracy and
it's
whispers
like,
and
we don't know
shadows.
what's out there.
Yeah,
and then
it's
you go
quite
out there
post-apocalyptic.
and you die.
Yeah. Oh, nice.
Well, because if there's no high street, there's going to be nobody around.
Yeah.
What happens to the high streets? What do they become? Like, what is it? Do you just get... I don't know, man.
We've gone down a rabbit hole, haven't we?
Yes, it's quite a deep one.
Hello and welcome back to Blaggin It. We've had a break. It's very hot today.
Ridiculous.
Yeah.
We Britons aren't made for the hot weather, are we?
No, I'm cool, thanks. I'm quite looking forward to winter, to be honest.
I love autumn. Autumn's my favourite season. Starbucks, they have the pumpkin spice lattes.
Oh, no.
You're not? Are you a coffee person? You're not a coffee person, are you?
No, not at all.
Are you a coffee person?
Yeah.
Okay, that's the end of that conversation.
I'm not an autumn person though.
Oh, awkward.
I just wanted to try and see how...
You like that, don't you? You like making atmospheres more awkward.
Yeah.
How can I make this more awkward? I love doing it with people in public, like when you're in a restaurant or something.
That's what I used to do, innit?
All right.
Okay then. You say that to anything, someone go, "Are you all right?" No, don't worry about it.
It's this. Cool. And we went to Costa. I went to Costa once. We were together. And I went, you don't sell coffee here, do you?
Oh,
And then
it was so annoying.
And you were in McDonald's, and you went up to the counter, and she went, "Hello, what can I get you?" And you went, "I'd like to get some food, please." And then she was like, "Well, what kind?"
She's so cross.
And then you were like, "Well, what do you have?"
Yeah,
and
I
then
didn't even look at
and
the
she was
menu.
like, "The menu's up here," and you're like, "Oh," it's as if it was the first time you'd ever been in Mackey's. Is that your motorbike?
I'm not going to lie, I'm going to make sure.
Really? No, I think it's the guy. No, it's not. It's fine. Where's the key? No, it's fine. Sit down. It'll be awkward.
My trust issues, man.
I've got a spare push bike if you need it.
Sounds more like a scooter.
Yeah, it didn't spit fire, it's not mine.
It didn't spit fire.
Yeah, in between gears, it pop.
It pa 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 ka ka giggity giggity ha.
Kind of, yeah.
Do you like that? I think I could rap, man. Right, anyway, okay, cool. So, Luke, one of the things we love to talk about on this podcast is relationships.
Oh, right.
So I just
Like he's never heard an episode.
This should be interesting.
oh, okay. So I'd like to, you've obviously had a very tumultuous history with the relationship with a romantic partner. Can you talk to us a bit about your journey and what have been your lessons that you've learned? What are your philosophy and beliefs on it?
God,
if it isn't too invasive and personal.
No.
Great, fantastic.
I was in one long-term relationship and then one that was short-term, I suppose.
Okay, how long term is long term?
4 years.
Okay. Yeah.
I guess what I've learned from it is that you can be right for someone at a certain point in time and then not be right for them because of circumstance. That's what I've learned.
It can change overnight very quickly.
From both relationships, there's been a couple of other things as well, but it's just circumstances for me is the biggest player in whether it will work or not, because I've met people that have genuinely bounced really well off, but just you end up not being able to see eye to eye with where you want to take the rest of your life or take the rest of the relationship. It doesn't mean you think any less of them.
Are you like a strictly long-term relationship
No,
kind of guy, or is it just so when you initially get involved with something, is that what you think of, or is it like no, I'm just chilling,
No, I would say when I've been involved with people before, unless there's always been a connection there, if you know what I mean.
So you're here for the long
necessarily, term. The L word at points.
But, did you say the L word to L? Of course you did.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I don't know. I'm at that point in my life now where I've just realised that the anxieties that I've gone through in the relationships I've been in, I just don't want to put up with them anymore, to be quite honest. And I've been faffed about.
Yeah,
and just confusion is or clarity is the most important thing, and I don't think I've ever quite achieved that yet. And I wonder if it's not down to the other people. Maybe it's just me. Maybe I'm just not supposed to be with anyone. And I genuinely think that. I think I'm happier on my own. I'm really happy at the moment.
Do you
don't
think
sound
that...
it there.
I promise. I'm really happy. I swear, I'm the happiest of everything.
I am, I promise. I'm fine.
Do you think that a large part of that though is like because of course we're still young whippersnappers, as they would say, mid 20s and that.
Yeah.
And so I personally feel that for literally everybody, your biggest growth is from 20 to 30.
Mm-hmm.
That's when you would like really sort of figure out like who you are, and of course you will evolve massively, like more than you would any other point in your lifetime, at least I think for most people.
Yeah.
So is it really a wise idea for us to be trying to find a partner during these times that are so significant in our growth? Because the odds are definitely against us in like already, like if the average age of death is like 75 or whatever, odds are already against us that we're going to be with these people until that point, let alone when we're going through our biggest growth spurt and things are going to change. We're going to figure out who we are and really do a lot of self-discovery as well.
Well, I think we convince ourselves that we need someone else to unlock that, which actually isn't true.
Boom.
That's what I think.
Just like that comment.
Yeah, no, I do. I think
was that
I
like
think
one of the Telltale games? Chris will remember that.
And then it had no impact. Fucking Walking Dead.
Sorry to cut you off, bro.
No, that was good. I think sometimes you can, because we are even when you're a teenager, you're constantly surrounded by people getting together.
Mm-hmm.
In your brain, you think that's the norm, and that you are obliged at points to say yes when somebody is interested in you, which I think we're all guilty of at certain points. It doesn't mean you're wrong, because you're still going to learn a lot out of it. But
I suppose that's true. Yeah, if you don't go through those difficult times and that, you miss out on a lot of wisdom. Yeah, so I suppose I'm with it.
Yeah. Okay,
so you'd say that right now it's not something that you're particularly looking for. You're just chilling.
And not like genuine. I joked aside earlier. Genuinely, I am so ridiculously happy within myself right now that I've never actually experienced in my life. I think it's because it's just when I wake up, and this is selfish, but when I wake up, I know that aside from my family and my close friends, I don't have to really think or be completely or entirely responsible for someone else's emotions. In the past, I have been that. I have been leaned on, and it can get to a point where it drains all the colour and all the life out of you.
You said earlier that you don't feel like sharing yourself with anyone at the moment.
No, I don't.
Yeah.
Someone would have to blow me away, like literally be absolutely. Yeah, that was the better choice of words.
All right, bro. Yeah, they do. Yeah, they do.
To any ladies listening, you can blow Luke Mortimore away if you want to stand a chance of getting this hunk of man.
This is great.
I don't know how come back. Again, poor choice of words. I'm just gonna shut up.
So you're very happy and content with just being on your own.
Absolutely. I don't mind if I'm single for another 10 years. It'd be fine. I know I'll be all right.
Okay. No, I like that. I think that's actually the minority. I think
it's a sign of a very mentally healthy and sound person, really, isn't it?
Yeah, absolutely.
To some degree.
Yeah,
most of the time.
So do you find that when you were in a relationship, do you find that you were constantly trying to please them
at times,
and always putting their needs before yours, and were like almost taking care of them as opposed to doing what you needed
in
to
the
do?
end, in the end, not just and of course, there was points where I absolutely appreciate. I was a big pain in the arse.
What to them?
There's another one.
That's 3 now.
Okay.
But I was a real pain at points because again,
was that were you a pain to yourself or to your partner or to the people around you,
I
or
think
both?
I think I was so self-deprecating because of how leaned on I felt that I became explosive at points, and
I've experienced something as well to that degree.
Not in
where you crack.
Yeah, you just lose it. You just do a mess on the floor. You sink.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I think the thing is, I don't think all relationships are like that. I think it's so important not to bracket. I don't think any relationship is ever the same.
Yes. Yes, because that's something that people get sort of caught up in almost. It's like once they get with somebody else, you're already looking back at the previous person and being like, right, okay, so what about this person do they not have that this person did? It's like, well, why are we looking at them like that?
Yeah.
Like, because they're not that person. Of course they're not going to have things the same. It's like, why don't we start looking at what they do have that the previous didn't have, that we appreciate?
Exactly, yeah.
Like,
so important.
Yeah.
So important.
It's like, this one isn't a fucking psycho. Brilliant. Okay, or at least right now
which
they're not.
for you, Chris, is a big green tick.
Cheers, mate.
Sorry.
No, it's cool, man.
A bit below the belt.
But yeah, so what's your views on that, Tom? What's your views on what we're saying?
What are we talking about?
Oh, Jesus.
Relationships.
And about how you can already be comparing your current situation to your previous, even though, as opposed to looking at the good things that they have that the previous.
I think
did
relationships can cause a lot of trauma, and I think that if you don't heal and come to terms with and accept that trauma, then you carry that baggage into the next one, and you owe it to someone. This is why we talked about be ugly and dating in our second episode, I think.
Yes.
You owe it to someone for them to know, at least be aware of this trauma and that you're working through it before you start to commit to them. I think that there comes from there's a lot of pressure that comes from monogamy and relationships, and that the minute you put a label on it and make it official, as it were, the minute you're Facebook official, it's this weird invisible pressure that changes you. Have you ever looked at yourself in the past of when you were in a relationship and gone, who was that guy?
Yeah.
Why was I not giving myself?
Yes. Yeah, absolutely.
Was I being authentic to my partner and also to myself? And if the answer is no, then that's probably an indication that it wasn't a healthy relationship.
Yes.
Do you know what I mean? So I think what I will carry into my next relationship, which I'm not looking for in any way at the moment, is...
He says as he downloads Tinder last week.
40 seconds.
Oh, so
it's really slow on my phone. It lags, and I just can't keep up with that. I need convenient, and I was like, nah, mate. But is that making sure that I'm 100% all of the time authentically being myself, doing what I'm doing, and that my happiness is at the centre of all of it. And the minute it isn't, not signing off maybe, but just taking time for reflection.
Well, it's like we said earlier, a compromise. I mean, you are going to get those. That is what you're there for. Sometimes is that person to lean on. But if it becomes all the time, then that's not a relationship anymore. You know.
No, yeah.
You should
Then
be
your
willing
only
to-
experience of that person is to help them.
Yeah.
And the minute you do help them and they outgrow you, they end
And
up
a lot of the
dropping
A
you.
lot of the time, it's not how people. I just wanted to say this. This is really important. It's important to remember that not every sort of action that has upset you in a relationship has been out of maliciousness or on the other person or anything. Like sometimes it is purely out of confusion and love as well.
Yeah,
you know?
yeah.
It really it's so difficult to be sat here talking about it in a way that's relatable because it just seems so far away from me right now, you know.
Well, in your past.
Yeah, well, just the concept of it, like, it just
Yeah.
feels
It's not.
so
It's
alien
not. It's
now.
not what you're
No,
manifesting.
and again, this is like a new feeling. I've never had that in my life where I've actually sat down and gone, like life would be so much better if I had a partner right now. It wouldn't. It could be equally as good, and if I get that, brilliant.
Yeah.
That's what I know. It's green tick done.
Yeah, this is
You know?
that goes back to what we said about, or at least what I said. You know, the icing on the cake theory.
Yes.
So that nothing should change. It should just be this person's now here.
Yeah.
Like everything else is all the same. Like so obviously with like your with all like your music stuff. So like obviously I imagine you have like set dates for rehearsals and stuff.
Sure, yeah.
So like stuff like that doesn't change. It's not like, oh boys, well I know we so like oh Tom, I know we record on Mondays, but can we make that Tuesdays now because on Mondays I go and do this or with her or whatever. Nah, everything else stays the same. There's just this person to now share it with.
Yeah.
So
Whereas we put a lot of imagined pressure that it's the be all and end all, don't we? Yeah.
Whilst we're on the subject of relationships, and of course, you I imagine you aspire to take your band like as far as it will go.
Yeah.
So like actually first of all, to what scale do you want to take? Like, do you want to be like
Really good question.
let's go Wembley Stadium and sell that bitch out 3 nights in a row, or is it like the O2's fine? Or is it like, do you know what? Like, I could just sell out, the O2 in Kentish Town.
Yeah.
Maybe get like maybe 1,000 in there. Maybe just a few hundred.
Really
like,
good question.
What scale do you want to take?
I mean, I'd be lying. I'd love to play Wembley. It'd be brilliant.
Okay, yeah.
Have we gone from relationships to this?
Well, yeah, because first of all, I want it because depending on that depends on the scale of fame,
But
which
you're
then also
working
depends
with like
on
a
the
flow
effect of the
chart.
relationships.
I see. Okay.
I wouldn't want to get famous, but I'd like I'd like my music to be heard.
Of course,
just
yes.
me, even if it's negative responses. I'd like some sort of response.
Yeah, any response is good.
Yeah.
Okay, so you would take Wembley Stadium
I
off?
would. I don't know if the rest of the band would. I would.
Okay, but you don't. But we're not wanting to be famous. That's interesting.
Yeah, why?
Because
Don't
those two kind of go hand in hand, bro. If you're gonna sit like there's
I
how
like
many can
my
you get in Wembley
privacy.
Stadium?
I
90,000? Is it 90k?
Let me just ask Google. Okay. Oh no, actually, we don't trust Google anymore.
But you can get a fuckload in there, man. So to do that, like you're gonna be famous at least here.
I think it's like one of those things. I'd enjoy it for a bit, and then I'd hate not having my privacy. The media would kill me. It would.
Yeah.
I couldn't deal with bitchy fucking knobhead magazines. And
Yeah. Say
The Sun.
Freaking I don't know this band or whatever. Oh, sorry, I forgot the name.
HOKUM.
That's
HOKUM.
HOKUM.
HOKUM. Okay,
That's
right.
good, Chris.
And
Forget the.
it comes up.
Guess.
So which role do you play in the band?
So I'm.
He's the admin.
He's the admin.
I just do all the bookings. I'm here by mistake.
They let me play the triangle sometimes.
They let me come and do that.
I wasn't joking about the triangle.
You see when Noel Gallagher performed and there
You
was a
were
woman with the scissors just doing this. It was like, what are you adding to the song?
I reckon he did that on purpose because he knew it would piss Liam Gallagher off. He did a tweet about it.
So yeah, you can play the scissors, love. I don't know. He just had.
Brilliant.
So
someone
bizarre.
brought their daughter to work day and it's like, oh, fine, you can be involved.
That's fantastic.
But yeah, so what were we? Oh my god, what were we saying?
What's your role?
What's your role in the band?
Vocals, guitar, and keyboards.
Okay, so they'd consider you like lead singer then.
There's 2 of us, yeah.
Okay, so
Yeah,
yeah,
it's
there'd
two-
be like,
it's like
lead,
shared.
lead singer of HOKUM does this, or I mean, it's some stupid, like,
Yeah.
you went outside and wore some weird coloured shorts with
Yeah.
naked ladies on.
Oh, yeah.
This is appropriate, this is disgusting.
Oh,
Or,
it drives me mad. It wouldn't be so much like people talking shit about you. It'd just be people on your property waiting with cameras. Like honestly, people wonder sometimes. Like, so easy to watch the news and stuff and go, "Oh, that celebrity's such a knob." You're like,
yeah.
you probably would be after a while if you've been fucked over by this, that, and the other, and people have scammed you like with certain things, and then people are taking pictures of you constantly. You
Yeah,
just would get to a point where you just want to tell people to fuck off, basically.
Yeah, it's that really, it's like a grey area almost, because the fans almost feel like you owe them something.
Yes.
Because they are the reason that you're there, effectively, which
Exactly,
admittedly,
yeah.
without them purchasing your album, yes, fine. But had I not made said album, you wouldn't have had anything to listen to.
Yeah, so
Yeah,
where,
like,
where do you get the say in it?
Yeah, it wouldn't have existed. And also, I didn't force you to purchase this album. However, you are now forcing me to have my privacy like invaded by you taking a picture of me at this restaurant or whatever. Fuck out my face. Like, it's something that I hate the idea of fame, and I know people say, "Oh, well, Chris, why are you trying to be a rapper?" Is that right? I'm trying to have as much control.
That relates to our conversation about success, doesn't it? That the idea is that in order to be a rapper, an actor, an admin assistant, you need to funnier in my head. You need to be famous, or it's not, and it's just so annoying.
Yeah, it's one of those things that I'm trying to sort of nip the bud with it now, and I try as much as I can to hide as much as possible. So whenever I put music videos out now, so I'm separating each project that I put out as like a separate era, as I'm calling it, and every single era has one outfit. So then every video I do, same outfit. Every picture that promotes that thing, same outfit. So then
Do you change the underwear as well, or is it the same underwear?
Well, of course I changed the underwear, Tom, and the socks.
It's not quite committed then, is it?
Well, that's just nasty. But you know what I mean. So then it's just, if I was to wear, more, well, it's a lot more freeing to what I can wear outside, if that makes sense.
Yes.
So, and it's also, I make sure to always wear some sort of, whether it's a jumper, whether it's a hoodie or something, so you can't see the tattoos. Because they're very unique tattoos by a very talented artist, you can't now... You'd see these and go, that's him, it's the tattoos.
Yeah.
There he is, over there. And it's also hat, shades, so then the top half of my head, you don't know what the fuck it looks like under here. Like, so again, I don't want to be recognised. I don't wear that outfit. I don't wear shades. I don't wear a hat, or I wear a different hat.
So it's almost the seer factor. It's that anonymity.
Yeah.
Whereas your band is more like your faces are very much plastered onto it, isn't it? From what I've, well, you've got the horse head, have you not? Do you?
Yeah. So
You wear a horse head?
Oh, not live. No. We are
Not live. The one time I want to see the horse head.
Distract the vocal.
That's the one time I want to see the horse
You
head.
can barely see out of them as it is.
Oh,
man. Our first single is called "Why the Long Face," and it's a story about. I won't go into too much detail, but it's basically this really scary girl I met in Reading.
Okay.
I just couldn't.
Did she have a long face?
Well, the thing that weirded me out was.
She had
she
no
did.
skin.
She. I don't want to be too.
She had no
I don't
skin.
want to be too offensive, but yes, she did. She did.
She did have a long
face. But the
face.
thing that I just couldn't get over was this girl was addicted to ketamine, but was
explains the horse head.
but was a horse trainer. That was her job. And I was like, this is genius. And I just came up with this. I just came
Well,
up
that's
with
where
this.
she's getting it from.
Yeah. And I was just like, I've got to write a song about this person that is just really unsatisfied with their life, that goes out on the pool every weekend, but is...
It's not that, like, how old is she? It's not that old lady. Do you remember that old lady? I swear an old lady started flirting with me in Reading as well. Do you remember that?
Yeah, that was
I was just like, I don't know how to play this. This is straight. Oh, hello, love. You all right? It's like half the size of me. It's like a little dwarf.
But
Oh, dear.
but yeah, that's why the horse head thing came in.
Oh.
We actually got a lot of listens on YouTube because people got it confused with BoJack Horseman.
I was thinking about BoJack Horseman as you said. Have you watched BoJack Horseman?
Yes, I have. Yeah,
I love it.
Yeah, brilliant.
Oh damn. Okay, so with a certain level of fame, of course, it would also, I imagine, it takes quite a strain on relationships. I feel like that's why a lot of celebrities get with other celebrities, because they're the only people that would understand everything that's going on.
Yeah, I've never actually really thought of it like that.
Because it must be, well, it's like two completely different concepts, but it's like when we talked about, if you go to London, it's a fucking different world out there.
Yeah.
And it's not that far away.
No.
It's like a completely different universe.
Yeah.
I imagine it's the same kind of thing. You cross this barrier
Threshold.
Of fame and money and all that, and nobody else would really understand it. And people look at these people, I'd love to be with Ryan Reynolds or whatever. It's like, oh really? So you want to go into his DMs and see thousands of women with their tits out, being all like, oh yeah, look at this.
Yeah,
I heard you were in Vancouver. Why don't you come get these? So do you know what I mean?
Intimate knowledge of Ryan Reynolds. What's going on?
People are crazy.
Okay. Yes, it kind of objectifies people, doesn't it?
Yeah, or obviously, you'd be with a female, a bunch of dudes sending their penises. You want all that, do you? You want people in the comments. Like, I've seen some awful comments on people's Instagrams.
Yeah.
And it's like, why are you saying this?
I know.
Like, I saw this one, right, of this woman, not even particularly famous, right? She's a cosplayer, right? It has about 200k followers. The picture of her in her undies, very nice. All right, not gonna lie.
Is that your review?
Yeah, that's my professional.
Is that the end of the story?
My professional
Picture of a
critique.
girl in her undies. Love it.
One of the comments said,
Is my mum in the house?
I don't think she is. I think I saw her leave earlier.
Okay.
One of the comments said, I want to leave you looking like a glazed donut.
What? That doesn't even make sense.
Right. Who is sending that?
Is that a yoga move? Would you be in a donut shape, or is in the finish?
The finish style. It's always the finish.
That is disgusting.
Yeah,
At least it was glazed donut and not like a sprinkled donut with different colours. That's when you need to worry. When there's
I imagine it's such a...
I don't trust custard donuts.
I imagine it is such a weird idea to get used to, of like people saying that to your partner, because like she had a partner.
Yeah.
So like, what's your take on relationships when being famous, like
being prominent?
Because like for me personally, I would rather. I've always had this idea that I've said to people that if it suddenly just, because it could just happen overnight. It doesn't matter. Like Jay-Z might tweet my link to a video, and then that's it, gone. Like if you maintain that, that's it, you're gone. See you later. But if it suddenly happened for me, and I was to get with somebody new, I would always. Now I'm saying it, they're always going to know that it's all a ploy now. But I'd always like to pretend that all of a sudden, shortly into our relationship, everything's gone to shit. So if I had a label, they're going to drop me. My money's disappearing. Kind of like, I'm not going to be this rich guy anymore. And see if they stayed with me. And if they didn't, joke's on you, bitch, I'm still rich. And like, just fucking throwing dollars everywhere. Like, do you know what I mean?
Okay, and that's your master plan.
Like, that's like, well, it was obvious why you were here. See you later.
I love that that's your idea of happiness. Like, you don't want to make a family, you just want to have a moment where you go, fuck you. It's probably not, don't put that on your Tinder profile.
It's how you find out what their true intentions
were.
Yeah. It's like, well, you were obviously here because of my what's the word? Well, because of who I was.
Yeah.
Not because you wanted to be with me. It was like because I was this guy.
Yeah.
So I'd much rather find somebody who was there before.
Yeah.
All of this happened. So then I know.
You can go with.
It's very hard to tell.
Like
it?
you were here when I was fuck all. I didn't have shit. I had absolutely nothing. So it's you'd know what it was there for. Do you know what I'm saying? So what's your take on all of this?
I think we forget that celebrities are real people. I think it's quite as simple as that.
Yeah.
I think we idolise celebrities because they are in some respects what we look up to. So the thought of being able to even get a clutch of that,
a taste,
money aside,
a lick,
a
sniff,
Jesus. Okay.
a winkle. Winkle's a funny word. My dad would always say, let's go to the beach and catch some winkles.
Catch some winkles?
I'm like, Dad, what does that mean?
Yeah, what does he mean by that?
They're little snails.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it's not like a, term for...
I mean, it sounds like a term for a small penis.
It's like a sluggy sort of thing.
Yes. Anyway, away from winkles.
Yeah, please.
But yeah, I just think people forget that they're real people. You know, I don't think all celebrity relationships have that sort of responsibility. I think there are a couple that you can tell seem fairly genuine if the other person isn't famous, and you see that go on more over time because the actor or the musician or the artist, whoever it is, tends to just do a lot less as they get older because they want to spend more time with their wife and their kids. You know?
Do you think it's something that you'd be able to identify? Like, do you think that it eventually become an intention that would be able to just see right through?
No,
and be like,
I don't.
I've seen this movie 1,000 times.
I think you just got to play it out. Yeah, right. Yeah, you just got to play it out. Otherwise, the anxiety of the imagined would actually be the saboteur of.
100%. Like we said, don't bracket relationships with the same brush. You know.
Nice.
Yeah.
Before we go,
yes,
Luke, I'd like you to play us a little ditty on the piano.
A ditty?
Let's get it plugged in.
You don't want a winkle on the piano, though.
I don't want a winkle, I want a ditty.
Okay.
I'm trying to think of like an iconic piano piece that he'd be able to play.
I'll probably play it badly. Let me try and remember.
Is it in tune? Do you have to tune pianos? I don't know quite how it works.
Pianos you do, keyboards you don't.
Okay.
So we're alright, we're fine.
That's something.
So...
Chris, do you want to turn up the gain? If we turn up the gain, will it be more? Can we hear? This is. Who's making that noise? Was that Luke?
Yeah, I think it was.
Oh, why is he whistling? Is that part of it?
Oh, I did whistle. Yeah.
Oh, okay. This is Luke Mortimore from.
What do we want though?
I wanted "Go Your Own Way" by Fleetwood Mac. Loving. Yeah, I'll do the vocals.
I can't sing and play this.
Oh, I want to sing. Okay, we'll do this, Chris.
We all have to sing it.
No, maybe we should. Shall we?
Give us the vocals, Tom. Let's go.
Do you not know the words?
Loving you isn't the right thing to do.
Yes.
I goes to C. How can I ever change things that I do?
Yes.
If I could, baby, I'd give you my word. How can I, when you go taken from me? It's the hard bit.
Let's do it.
You can go your own way.
Oh, he's remixing it. Here we go.
Go your own way.
Yes.
You can call it unknown, lonely day. Can anyone hit the high note there?
No.
You can go your own way. I'll leave it there.
Go your own way.
Oh, round of applause.
Not bad for working it out.
That was very good. That's what you want. Well, okay.
Need some singing lessons, I think.
That's okay. That was really nice. Well, Luke, thank you so much for being on the podcast and for coming along.
No trouble.
Much
Chris?
appreciated, man.
Say some lines while I...
Say some lines while you open your bag here.
Yeah.
I'm not too sure why we're doing this, but yeah, sure. Yeah.
Luke, here is your birthday present.
Oh, thank you very much.
For Luke and I are both Leos. My birthday was yesterday. Luke's is on the 13th.
It was.
It was. It is.
No, it was. It was last year, anyway.
Oh, wow.
So in there you will find
oh, bless you.
Our favourite vintage.
Oh, this is bringing back memories.
This is iconic, Chris.
It's bringing back memories.
Yeah. That was our
Amazing.
go. For anyone who in the know, it's a yellow label, Campo Viejo Rioja, and one time in Halls, I always wanted warm red wine.
I love this story.
So I used to put the oven on for my dinner, and then I would put the wine in the oven once it was off to warm up.
What?
And one evening, the cork expanded. And
Oh, you put it in the bottle? Yeah,
I put the bottle in the oven.
That sounds
Thanks,
horrible.
I was mental. And where's mine, Luke? No, I'm joking. I thought as you were here, I'd better get you something.
No, I appreciate that. It's really, really thoughtful.
We're going to sign off. Luke, where can people find you? Where can people find HOKUM? Where can people
So yeah, if you go on Spotify, HOKUM, HOKUM, Why the Long Face. We've got another one coming out called Blind Searcher. Should be out by the end of the year. We've got a Facebook page. Instagram, HOKUM Band Reading, I think it is on Instagram. But yeah, check us out. We're quite we're a fun group. We're not completely taking ourselves too seriously, but
That's
okay.
a couple of likes would be well received. So yeah, thanks very much.
Let's have it. Chris,
What?
where can the people find you?
Oh,
we do this every week.
They already know the vibes. At
Okay.
Real Chains on Instagram. That is CHAYNES. You already know the vibes. Blaggin It Pod is the tagline for our Instagram. You can hit us at Gmail with the blagginitpodcast@gmail.com. Feel free to cuss me out. Feel free to cuss Tom out. Tell him why doesn't he know who Denzel Washington is.
I just remember.
Send us your views and opinions on anything that we've talked about, anything you would like us to talk about, or maybe even suggest some guests that we could talk to. Yeah, cool, Tom.
But just don't submit this stuff on my acting coaching page.
Yeah, no, let's not do
the
that.
email. The minute I saw Denzel Washington, I was like, goodbye.
Let's get the vacuum guy in. By the way.
What was his name?
The
again?
vacuum wizard.
Ian Beat.
Neil Beat.
Neil Beat.
Neil Beat, the vacuum wizard.
We are going to find Neil Beat.
Neil McBeal.
We need
the
to get
Navy
him
SEAL.
on the call.
Okay.
Just,
I'll
I can't
reply.
help you with acting coaching, but
Do I have an opportunity for you?
do it on the podcast, bro.
_ Thomas J Baker on Instagram. You can go to my website thomasbakeractor.com and sign up for a free acting lesson, and then hopefully we can get your career fucking springboarded and get you some quality coaching. I've been Tom Baker. You've been amazing. Tom Baker has left the chat. Bloop.
All right, guys, as always, you know the vibes. Like I said, take care of yourselves, love each other, love yourselves even twice a day, like Tom said last week.
At least.
At least, yes. Catch you next week. Chris is leaving the chat. Bloop.
I've been Luke. Loved it. I hope you got some form of entertainment out of it and had a bit of a think. Yeah. Peace.
Say bloop.
Blue.
You've been listening to Blaggin It. And now, your usual program.